Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this informational session with Campus Philly, a local nonprofit in Philadelphia that works with students and companies to provide students with opportunities for them to stay in their local cities after graduation. Today, we'll be talking about internships, what that entails, common questions that a lot of companies may have when thinking about internships. And today I have here Ashlie from the Campus Philly team who will be providing us with a quick presentation.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for watching this. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started right away. All right. So as you've already heard, Campus Philly is a nonprofit. We fuel the regional economy by encouraging college students to explore, live, and work in Greater Philadelphia. We help students fall in love with Philadelphia and launch their careers here after they graduate. My name is Ashlie Thornbury. I'm the Vice President of Partnerships at Campus Philly. Our organization was founded in the early 2000s, 2004, and I myself have been with the organization since 2011. And I specifically focus on developing partnerships with employers and companies just like yours and help them get plugged into all of the cool stuff we're doing, including recruiting and onboarding interns. So again, just a quick summary of what we do so you understand why we're in this space. We help students fall in love with Philadelphia, primarily by introducing them to arts and culture, outdoor experiences that enable them to explore the city, and opportunities to expand their personal and professional networks. We do a lot of in-person events, but now in COVID times, we are leaning heavily on our social media properties to keep connected. Our largest following is on Instagram. We have about 18,000 followers who engage with us to find everything from fun things to do that are safe and socially distant fun, as well as jobs, internships, what's going on this weekend, what's going on next month, and ways that they can keep exploring and meeting their Philadelphia. This next slide, this is just to give you a sense of the type of events that we have been hosting since COVID. We've moved to a virtual platform, and now all through the summer and all through this fall, we'll be connecting students to employers, businesses, entrepreneurs, on a lot of different topics. This is just an example of some of the topics we've covered so far. So we did careers in nursing, careers for math lovers, corporate careers for creative people. This fall, we'll actually be doing some focused on biotech, another one focused on creative careers, all types of things, all types of topics. We're really trying to make sure that every student, no matter what their major is or whatever their interest is, that they can connect to someone in Philadelphia and start building their professional networks here, which of course will increase the chances that they stay. But today I'm here to talk to you specifically about internships. So as you're watching this, ask yourself this question: what would you like to get out of today? And if I don't cover that in this very short presentation, I'm going to give you my email address at the end, and I want you to feel free to shoot me an email and I can make sure to answer your questions. I like to always start this presentation off though with a quick definition of what is an internship, because I've realized there's a lot of different opinions on what an internship is. I'll tell you first what it's not. An internship is not free labor. It's not someone who's going to be your personal assistant, grab you coffee. What an internship is experiential learning. It's an integration of knowledge and theory in the classroom with practical application and skill development in a professional setting. And it's professional experiences for college students leveraging their knowledge and expertise while extending their skill set. And when you're wondering like how an internship is going to benefit you as an employer, I think it's really nice to just spell it out. There's lots more I could probably come up with, but here's 10 quickies. So essentially, it can help you build a talent pipeline for your organization while also creating ambassadors on campus that can represent your company, your products. In that same line, it's getting your products in front of young consumers. It'll also give you the ability to test the potential of a new position in your company. It'll allow you to complete more projects. A lot of employers struggle with the diversity of their workforce, and interns can be a great way to increase the diversity of your workforce. It can also help your more experienced employees develop some important management skills, and it brings fresh eyes and ideas to long-standing challenges that you guys might be facing. Mostly that comes from them bringing the latest industry knowledge right from their classroom into your office. And you can treat the internship like a 3-month job interview for a full-time position, which is probably the safest hiring strategy when you think about it. But how do you know exactly if you need an intern? So I always say, talk internally and ask yourself these questions. Could you use help with a specific project, task, or research? Would a fresh new perspective boost an area of your organization? Do you have a technical need? Example, updating your website. Would your employees be more productive if they had some assistance? If you answer yes to more than one of these, you need an intern. And the most frequently asked question, 100%, is, do I need to pay an intern? Our answer at Campus Philly is yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be an hourly wage. Paid internships attract the most skilled interns. It also increases intern performance and equal the playing field. In other words, you'll have a much more diverse candidate pool if you're willing to pay your interns. And then long term, it also offers higher employee retention rates, and it gives legal protection to employers. I can go on and on about the benefits to paying your interns. I'll try not to harp on it too much, but honestly, it's important that you consider paying an intern, not just because it gives you the warm fuzzies, but because this is skilled labor that they're bringing to the table. And the guidelines about what you can and can't pay for when it comes to internships are so fuzzy that in the long run, you're much safer if you can pay them. Okay, so now you're probably wondering how much. So I like to offer these like typical structures. So for instance, you have a summer intern, maybe offer them a stipend, and that can vary anything from $1,000 to $3,000. An hourly rate for interns can range anywhere in the ballpark of $10 an hour to $30 an hour, depending on the experience the intern has, and also the industry you're in. According to the National Association of College and Employers 2018 Guide to Compensation for Interns, the average hourly wage is actually $18.73. Do you have to provide health care for your interns? And the answer to that is no, because most students are covered by their parents' or guardians' health care plans, or they can obtain it through their colleges and universities. Your next question was probably, well, how long are internships? So typically, they last anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks, and they run on the same timeline as semesters. So think about fall being August through December, spring, January through May, and summer, May through August. However, you can customize this to fit your needs. I have some employers that start an internship in the fall, and they carry it all the way through to the following summer. If the student's up for that and it works better for you to have a longer engagement with an intern, then put it out there and see who is available for that type of commitment. Things that are critical to success. You have to have the right staff in place to make sure that this is a successful internship. So I always recommend having the first thing you do be a really strong and vetted internship description. Know exactly what you're going to be asking of that intern what projects, what skills they'll need, and have it all on paper. And then think about the staff coordination internally. So we think it's helpful to have an internship coordinator if your organization is going to be recruiting for a lot of interns. And that would be for various staff and departments. This coordinator would be the person who organizes the recruiting and onboarding process and matches the interns to their projects, departments, and direct supervisors. However, if it's just a smaller operation in general and you only see yourself hiring maybe 1 or 2 interns, that coordinator position may not be as necessary. Other additional roles to think about is identifying a mentor or an intern buddy. And this would be the intern's go-to resource for questions ranging from as simple as, is there a good lunch spot nearby? Or can I ask someone from another team for advice on a project? The mentor can be the supervisor as well, or just someone who's going to be, as I said, the go-to person to answer questions that the intern might feel a little intimidated to ask their official supervisor. And then, of course, a supervisor. Yes, you need to have someone who is going to supervise your intern, someone the intern can report to, get feedback from, check in with, get assignments from. Do not expect this intern to just supervise themselves. That is not how it works. And trust me, no one will win. And then last but not least, think about the team of people that this intern will have interactions with and make sure they're all looped in, that they've seen the internship description, that they maybe played a part in the recruiting process of this intern, because the more prepared you are and the more prepared they are, the better the internship experience will be. So now you might be wondering, well, where do I find an intern? So that's where we can come in and help. We have a job board, campusphilly.org/jobs. It's a completely free platform where you can post jobs and internships. Thousands of college students and recent grads use this website to find local jobs and internships in Philadelphia. You could also consider attending any of Campus Philly's recruiting events. We have a few coming up, starting with Spark Philly on October 1st. And then we also encourage you to contact your local college career service office, because they are counseling students all the time who are looking for jobs and internships. So next steps, I would consider, heading over to campusphilly.org, check off the employer resource page, and you can download a copy of a digital brochure we've created called Internship in a Box. This will go over everything I've covered in this presentation and dive a little deeper. And if you go through that and you still have questions, or if you want to bounce ideas off someone, feel free to shoot me an email. My name is Ashlie Thornbury, and my email address is listed here, but it's Ashlie, ASHLIE, at campusphilly.org, and I'd be happy to help you in any way I can. Thanks for listening today, and hope something in here was something you did not know before, and that this has inspired you to move forward with either hiring an intern or creating an internship program at your company.
Thanks so much, Ashlie. If it's okay, can I actually ask you a few questions that came up for me during your presentation?
Yeah.
I think some other companies might relate. You mentioned your virtual event programming and some things coming up in the fall. Is there any opportunities for companies who are interested in having another gateway to engaging with students for them to be presenters of an event or somehow involved? Is that a possibility?
100%. We're always looking for people who are excited and willing to share their stories of how they've launched their careers or their companies in Philadelphia. We have found that the more you can connect students to people who have actually done what our mission is all about, they stayed and they grew professionally, or they grew a company in Philadelphia. Those are really important in convincing someone that Philadelphia is in fact a great place to launch your career. So if anyone's ever interested in getting involved as a speaker or a guest at one of our virtual events, we would be happy to have them.
Awesome. Another question I have for you. So I had actually a question from a company that wanted to explore bringing on interns, and they were in a very bootstrapping growth phase. So they were looking for rounds of investment. They knew that they had a really strong potential to grow within the next year. And within that period of growth, they really needed that extra help with talent. And they wanted to pay for that talent. They just were in that hard position of like, we're almost there, and I want to ramp up to that point where I am able to pay those interns. What advice would you give those types of companies?
So I would ask them to think about what other things they can offer. Would they be willing to invest in a scholarship fund for that intern? Would they be willing to give them a transportation and a lunch stipend? Would they be able to give them some type of investment in their company or their business? I do think it's really important, though, before they come to the decision that they can't afford an intern, to really evaluate all of their resources, because the fact of the matter is, and all the reasons I listed in my presentation, paying an intern it's legal protection for your company. It's also ensuring equity in the types of students that can afford to work at your organization. A lot of first generation students, as well as students in underserved communities, they have a lot of things that they could offer your company, but they are not going to be able to take an unpaid internship. And that's just really not fair to them. And you're also not really giving your company a competitive advantage by having those people work at your company if it's because of the pay that they're not able to apply.
Yeah. Thank you. You mentioned maybe directly going to some local universities to source teachers and talent. What about companies that are worried about school expectations and having that extra responsibility? Maybe there's the university is asking students to have their company fill out a report or, create a special project curriculum. How would they balance that?
There's definitely some schools that are easier to work with than others. I would say contact first, maybe the school that you yourself went to, because maybe you potentially have an existing relationship there. That could be really helpful in getting an internship started up with that particular school quickly and effectively. The other thing I would say is, career service offices are now very flexible, maybe more so than they used to be, in working with employers who have jobs and internships, because frankly, the job market is very different than it has been for a long time. So their main priority is definitely helping their students get that professional experience and to put their degree into action. So I think you'll find that career service offices will be helpful in getting your internship set up without too many complications. And I think if you're just very straightforward with them about what you need and you have a good internship description already prepared, that's usually the hardest part. And it should be pretty easy from there.
Awesome. Thanks. Last question I had. So for companies that may run into this situation where maybe they get some applicants who have already graduated college, just graduated, are no longer students, is that something that they should consider differently or look at differently, just in the case that this person needs to make a living or is no longer a student?
So I hear that question and I think about, the person who graduated who's willing to apply for an internship. Um, I think that means that they're signing up for an internship. They're not going to expect to be paid more. They're not going to be waiting for a guarantee that they're going to be hired full time if they take this. They're probably looking for meaningful experience for the position that they want ultimately. And whether that's with your company or another company in your same industry, um, I think that's fine. Even before the COVID crisis, I knew of a lot of people who took internships after they graduated, and they saw that as a really important stepping stone. And employers treated them like they did any intern, whether they were currently a student or not. Um, I think that it's totally fine. It shouldn't change too many expectations on either side. However, I think it actually allows for increased flexibility on the employer's part. If you would like that person to have 9 to 5 office hours, then they'll probably be able to do that if they're not also in school. So I really don't see there being any disadvantage from the employer's standpoint. And in fact, I think that a recent graduate who wants to take an internship is just being really dedicated to the role that they ultimately want to achieve. And this is an important resume builder for them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. That was some really great and valuable information. I don't remember, did you say your email in case anyone wanted to reach out?
Yes, it's Ashlie, ASHLIE, at campusphilly.org. People can email me. I'm also on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Say that you saw the CIC presentation so I know where you're coming from. And yeah, also I just encourage them to check out campusphilly.org. And if they want to get involved, just contact us. We're always excited to grow our network of partners. So thank you for having me today, and thanks for listening.
Awesome.